If a fish kept dreaming of flying, would it ever realize that the entire ocean already belongs to it? Have you ever looked at someone else's success and suddenly felt like your own life had shrunk? One of the quietest yet deepest pains in life is comparing ourselves to others. We often ask, why is she so successful? And why am I not? But we forget one simple truth: her path and ours were never meant to be the same. Remember this: if a fish spends its whole life wishing it could soar like a bird, it will always believe it's not good enough, even if it can swim across the entire ocean. And today, with the rise of social media, this habit of comparison has only grown worse. We scroll through perfect pictures, perfect numbers, perfect lives, and suddenly, our own world feels small. We forget about the talents and gifts that belong only to us. Slowly, that kind of thinking pushes people into sadness and despair. That's why today's story is for anyone who has ever sighed and thought, "I'll never be as good as them." Listen closely, because every line of this story has the power to shift the way you see yourself. Long ago, near a quiet little town, there was a small village. Beside that village stretched a vast and beautiful forest. In that village lived a boy named Daniel, a hardworking, kind soul, loved by everyone. Yet he carried a habit that kept his heart heavy. Daniel could not stop comparing himself to others. When he saw his friend Liam always earning the top grades, Daniel thought, "I wish I were as smart as him." When he noticed his wealthy neighbor Ryan, Daniel sighed, "If only I had money like him." Even when he saw someone running fast, he wondered, "Why can't I run like that?" Each of these thoughts was like a stone weighing down his spirit, pulling him deeper into sadness. Over time, Daniel lost focus in his studies. The things that once brought him joy no longer interested him. His mind was trapped in a tiring loop. "I'll never be like them." One day, a wise old man came to visit the village. Everyone knew him as Grandpa Joe. His words were always thoughtful, and people loved to hear his advice. Daniel gathered the courage to approach him and confessed, "Grandpa, I've worked so hard, but whenever I see someone better than me, I feel so sad, as if I'll never measure up." Grandpa Joe smiled and said softly, "Tomorrow, come to the oldest tree in the village. There, you'll find your answer." The next morning, Daniel made his way to the ancient tree. Grandpa Joe was already waiting. With a calm voice, he said, "Look around carefully. Tell me, what do you see?" Daniel scanned the forest and replied, "Grandpa, there are so many different kinds of trees here. Some were tall, some were short. Some branches were heavy with fruit, while others bore none at all." Grandpa Joe smiled again and said, "Now imagine this: if the apple tree compared itself to the coconut tree and complained, 'Why am I so short?' Or if the coconut tree sighed, 'I wish I had sweet fruits like the apple tree.' How would that sound to you?" Daniel laughed out loud. "That would sound really silly, Grandpa." As the laughter faded, Grandpa Joe leaned in and asked gently, "All right then, tell me, how does this entire forest feel to you?" Daniel glanced around. The leaves swayed gently with the wind. Sunlight spilled through the canopy, scattering golden patterns across the forest floor. His smile softened. "It feels peaceful and beautiful. Everything seems perfectly balanced, just as it should be." Grandpa Joe nodded, his eyes glowing with wisdom. "Exactly. Life is the same. Every tree in this forest has its own special quality, and people are no different. Each of us carries our own strengths. The apple tree gives sweet fruit. The coconut tree that stands tall and strong. They are not the same, but both are equally important." With that, Grandpa Joe slowly guided Daniel away from the great tree. They walked until they reached a quiet pond, its surface shimmering like glass beneath the sky. Beneath the water, fish darted playfully. High above, a bird soared gracefully across the open air. Grandpa Joe pointed toward them and said, "Now imagine if that fish looked up and thought, 'I wish I could fly like the bird.' Do you think that would make sense?" Daniel blurted out, "No, of course not. Fish are made to swim and birds are made to fly. If they traded places, neither would truly be themselves." Grandpa Joe smiled warmly, a smile that seemed to reach straight into Daniel's heart. "Then why, my boy, do you wish to become someone else? You have your own path. You carry gifts within you. Perhaps you just haven't seen them yet. Find those strengths and walk forward on your own 2 feet. Those words echoed inside Daniel's mind. It felt as if a door had suddenly opened within him. He realized that every person is born different, and constant comparison only adds more pain. From that day on, Daniel stopped measuring himself against others. Instead, he began focusing on his own talents, his own work. Day by day, his confidence returned. Life once again felt fresh, exciting, and full of promise. Years later, through steady effort and perseverance, Daniel built a life of his own. He became an inspiration to the entire village. And whenever someone asked him, "Daniel, how did you become so successful?" he would simply smile and reply with words that lingered in people's minds. Never compare yourself to others. If a fish spends its life trying to fly, it will always feel like a failure. But if it focuses on swimming, it can master the entire ocean. Remember this: the sun and the moon never shine at the same time, yet both are vital. Each has its own moment to light up the world. So it is with people. Find your own path. Walk it in your own way. That is where true success lies. If this story touched your heart, give it a like to support us. Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience may inspire someone else. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the meaningful stories we bring to you each week.